Episode 4, the first adjustment, a decimal that could move millions. There is an old saying. The first wrong step is rarely the loudest, but it echoes the longest. Adrian Cole would remember that, but not yet, not on the morning when everything still felt controlled, logical and justified. The calm before the shift, the Manhattan skyline shimmered in the early morning light. Tall glass towers catching the sun like blades of polished steel. Inside his penthouse, Adrian stood barefoot by the window, holding a cup of untouched coffee. His hazel eyes were fixed on the city below, but his mind was elsewhere. Numbers, patterns, questions, the file he reviewed the night before refused to leave his thoughts. A pharmaceutical company, a massive one, a global reach, billions in revenue. But the financial statements, they breathed strangely. Not broken, not illegals, just adjusted. Carefully, almost artistically, Adrian rubbed his temple. Maybe I'm overthinking, he muttered. But deep inside, a quiet voice responded. Or maybe you're just starting to see. The call his phone buzzed. A message. Vale, conference room 47, 9:00 a.m. sharp. No emojis, no extra words, just precision. Adrian checked the time. 8:12 a.m. He exhaled slowly. Something about Alina always felt like standing at the edge of a very deep lake. Calm on the surface, but impossible to see the bottom. The room of decisions, conference room 47, was different. Unlike the bright, open training rooms, this one was enclosed. Glass walls, but tinted. Soundproof. Controlled. Inside sat 3 people. Alina Vale, Gustav Reinhardt, and a man Adrian had never seen before. The man was in his early 50s, with pale skin that had seen little sunlight, slicked back dark hair, and tired gray eyes. His suit was expensive, but his posture carried tension, fear maybe, or urgency. Alina gestured for Adrian to sit. "Mr. Cole," she said smoothly, "thank you for coming." Adrian nodded. "Of course." Gustav slid a digital tablet across the table. "This," he said, "is a compliance restructuring case." Adrian glanced at the file name, Helixis Pharmaceuticals Group. He froze for half a second. Helixis. He had seen their name in global headlines. Drug patents, pricing controversies, regulatory pressure, big players, dangerous waters. The explanation, Alina folded her hands on the table. Helixis is currently under regulatory review, she began. Certain financial disclosures have created concerns. Adrian nodded slowly. "What kind of concerns?" The unknown man spoke for the first time. His voice was dry. "Misinterpretations." Gustav added calmly, "timing discrepancies, revenue recognition issues." Adrian's eyes moved across the data on the tablet. Large numbers, complex breakdowns, but then he saw it. A column, a decimal shift. Small, almost invisible, but the effect, massive. Millions, possibly hundreds of millions. Adrian looked up. This changes reported revenue significantly. Alina smiled slightly. "Yes, the language of power." Adrian leaned forward. "So what exactly is being requested?" Alina's emerald eyes held his. "A clarification," she said. Gustav corrected her gently. "Rebalancing." The unknown man leaned in. "Compliance restructuring," he added quickly. 3 different words, same meaning. Adrian felt something tighten in his chest. "This is moving decimal placements." Alina nodded. "Yes." Silence. Adrian's mind raced. "Is this legal? Is this manipulation? Is there a difference?" The justification. Alina stood up slowly and walked toward the glass wall. The city beyond looked distant, muted, controlled. "Adrian," she said softly, "tell me something." He looked at her. "What is the purpose of accounting?" "To reflect financial reality," he answered. She turned. "And what is reality?" He hesitated. Gustav spoke quietly. "Reality is interpretation." Elena stepped closer. "These numbers," she said, gesturing to the tablet, "are not lies. They are perspectives." Adrian frowned slightly. "Regulators see one version," she continued. "We present another, more accurate version." The unknown man nodded quickly. "Oh, yes, exactly." Adrian's fingers tapped lightly against the table. That restless habit again. The weight of trust. Eleanor's voice softened. "You were selected because you are precise. Because you see patterns others miss. Because you can refine complexity into clarity." She paused. "And because we trust you." Those words landed heavily. "We trust you." There is a proverb. When a man is trusted, he fears losing that trust more than losing himself. Adrian swallowed. "What exactly do you want me to do?" Gustav tapped the tablet. "Adjust the decimal placements in the revenue recognition column. Rebalance the quarterly reporting structure. Ensure compliance alignment." Simple words, but behind them, massive consequences. The first line. Adrian stared at the screen. The cursor blinked. Waiting. It felt like standing at the edge of a line, drawn in invisible ink. Once crossed, you might never see it again. "Is this within legal boundaries?" Adrian asked quietly. Elena answered without hesitation. "Yes," Gustav added, "it is within interpretable boundaries." The unknown man said nothing, but his eyes begged. The decision. Adrian exhaled slowly. His mind flashed through everything. His mother, the framed magazine article, the penthouse, the opportunity, the trust, the future, and then the doubt. But doubt is quiet, and ambition is loud. He placed his fingers on the keyboard. Click. One decimal moved, then another. A shift so small it would escape almost any eye. But the totals recalculated instantly. Millions repositioned. Numbers reshaped. Reality adjusted. Adrian leaned back. "It's done." The silence after. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Gustav nodded. "Efficient." Elena smiled faintly. "Elegant." The unknown man exhaled deeply, as if a weight had been lifted from his soul. "Thank you," he said, but Adrian didn't feel thanked. He felt altered. The ripple effect. 3 days later, the news broke. Helixis Pharmaceuticals had successfully clarified its financial statements. Regulators eased pressure. Stock prices stabilized. Investors regained confidence. The media called it a strategic financial realignment. No one mentioned decimals. No one mentioned Adrian. But somewhere, far beyond the office walls, patients paid higher prices. Markets shifted, and power remained untouched. The reward. That evening, Adrian received another envelope. Inside, a bonus statement. 6 figures for a successful compliance engagement. He stared at the number. It felt unreal. He had never earned that much money in such a short time. His phone buzzed again. "Naomi Brooks, did you get yours?" He smiled slightly. "Yeah, this firm is insane." He didn't reply. The celebration that night. The recruits gathered at a rooftop restaurant overlooking the city. Naomi was glowing with excitement. "This is crazy," she said. "We're literally changing the world." Matteo raised his glass. "To success." Sophia watched Adrian carefully. "You're quiet," she said. He shrugged. "Just thinking." Lucas adjusted his glasses. "About the work." Adrian nodded. "It's complex." Matteo smirked. "Everything powerful is." The watching eyes far below in the dim server room, Calvin Morrow watched Adrian's apartment feed. He rewound the footage, zoomed in. The moment Adrian moved the decimal. Click. Pause. Calvin smiled slightly. "First step," he muttered. He typed a note into the system. Subject, Adrian Cole's status. Initiated. The subtle change. Days passed. Work intensified. Adrian handled more files, more adjustments, more interpretations. Each one slightly bigger than the last, each one easier than the first, because something had changed. Inside him, the hesitation faded. Not completely, but enough. There is an old truth. The first compromise is the hardest. The second feels like progress. A quiet confrontation one evening, Sophia found Adrian alone in the office. The lights were dim. The city outside pulsed with life. "You're different," she said. He looked up. How? She stepped closer. Less hesitant. He smiled faintly. "Maybe I'm learning." Sophia's violet-gray eyes searched his face. "Or maybe you're adapting." Silence stretched between them. The partners' approval in the boardroom. The 5 partners reviewed performance again. Victor Blackridge spoke calmly. "Adrian Cole," Gustav answered, "highly capable, increasing efficiency." Alina added, "His resistance threshold has lowered." Isabella nodded, "Which makes him useful." Malcolm smiled politely. "And loyal." Victor closed the file. "Good." The mirror moment late that night, Adrian stood in his penthouse bathroom. He looked at his reflection. The same face, the same eyes, but something behind them had shifted. He leaned closer. "It's just numbers," he whispered. The mirror did not answer, but silence can be louder than truth. The shadow of consequence across the ocean, in a small European city. A news report played quietly in a pharmacy. A woman argued with the pharmacist. "The price has increased again?" she asked. The pharmacist nodded helplessly. "New adjustments." The woman sighed. She placed the medicine back, walked away, far away in Manhattan. Adrian poured himself a drink. He did not know her. He would never meet her. But his decision had touched her life. That is the nature of power. Invisible, but absolute. The closing moment back in the server room. Calvin Morrow leaned back in his chair. All screens active, all subjects monitored, all systems running. He whispered quietly, "Welcome to the system." Lessons and teachings 1. Small compromises create large consequences. A tiny decimal can move millions and change lives. 2. Power hides behind language. Words like rebalancing and compliance can disguise truth. 3. The first decision defines the path. After that, every step becomes easier. 4. Success can silence conscience. The louder the reward, the quieter the doubt. 5. Invisible actions still have real victims, even when you don't see them. 6. Not all legal things are right, and not all wrong things look illegal. As the proverb says, when you sell your soul, it rarely feels like a sale, it feels like a promotion. Call to action if this story made you think, if it made you question power, success, and truth. Then you're already part of the journey. Subscribe now, because in the next episode, Adrian will face a decision that is no longer small. Sophia will uncover something she was never meant to see, and the system will begin to reveal its true cost. This is not just a story, it's a mirror, and the reflection is getting darker.